Okay, hi everyone. My name's PK, and I've got here David and Gift with me, who have just bought a very awesome property through the Property Investment Accelerator. Get this. So the purchase price, I'm reading off my phone, $337,000. So not an expensive property, positively geared. The rent that they're already getting from day one of settlement is $500 a week. Okay, so you didn't hear that incorrectly. 337 purchase price, $500 a week. Even when David messaged me on Messenger, I was like, I'm not sure. Is that a typo? Because that's like pretty amazing. That's probably one of the better cash flow. What's the yield on that? It's probably around 7% or something like that. So,
Yeah.
amazing deal. And he bought it under market value. So the CMA, or you could say comparable market analysis, the valuation on this property is around 360, call it 360, 365, something around that if we were to take an average. So he got that, call it 20, 25, $30,000 under market value, huge positive cash flow. David and Gift, they live in Sydney. They bought in Perth, which this particular location is on fire, very hot suburb. So if this is the kind of deal that you guys want to achieve in this next 10 minutes, I'm hoping and I'm piling pressure on David and Gift to, unlock and unpack some gems and, drop some gold nuggets so that you guys can all get benefit. So thank you, David and Gift, first of all, for making time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I'm so happy that both of you are on this call because oftentimes in husband, wife, or partners, it's a joint effort. It's not always that one person takes the lead, but in this case, if I'm not mistaken, Gift, you were kind of deputed or given the baton by David. So you're more than welcome to answer questions, whoever wants to answer. But if we just start from the start, so where are you guys from? Like, what do you do for a living? Why are you investing in property to begin with?
Okay. Like PK said, my name is David and this is Gift. We live in Sydney. Professional wise, I'm a registered nurse. I work with people living with mental illness. I also do a lot of work in the community in the disability sector. She also works in the same industry as well, working with people living with a disability. Property investment has always been our goal because we want to pursue financial freedom like everyone else wants to. We want to take the steps now in this accumulation phase to try as much as possible to set ourselves up for the kind of future that we want. And that is why we decided to start this journey. And PK's resources has been fantastic, giving us a leverage, to be able to start that journey on the right note.
Yeah. Okay, in addition to that, we're originally from Nigeria. He moved here like almost 8 years ago, and I joined him a year later. So if that helps.
Yeah, I'm just always, I mean, it makes no difference, but I'm always inspired as well to hear stories of immigrants. I'm also an immigrant because it's really tough kind of moving countries. Don't care who you are or where you're from, it's never easy. And then to build wealth is kind of like a very satisfying thing for, you could say, us immigrants, because we've done it tough.
That's true.
So it's really pleasing to hear that. And so if we fast forward, you guys, you live in Sydney, you had already from last year one investment property in Brisbane, which you bought yourself. You were already property investors. Why did you see the need to spend all this money on working with me? What brought you to actually buy and implement the Property Investment Accelerator?
Okay, so like I said, passive income and financial freedom is a goal, and in order to do that, we needed to start taking steps. They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step, so we took the first step.
Confucius, love it.
Yeah, and then after that, with a lot of free resources online, we kind of tried to check the data for that particular area that we bought. And it obviously we bought it under market value as well. but the long-term growth potential of that, it's not that great, in the sense that there's huge undevelopable land land in the area at the moment, which will bring oversupply in the long term. So going for the next one, we decided that, look, I told her we need to get this right, and we must get it right. So we kind of spoke to a couple of buyers agents, kind of did a couple of interviews with them. One of them, she was really cool with it, with him, convinced kind of. And I said to myself, you can pay someone money, but if you get the knowledge yourself, no one is going to take that knowledge off you. And I remember her telling me, so what do you want to do? And I said, look, I spoke to PK sometime last year. We're going to do his course. So solely on the basis that that knowledge gives you the confidence in what you're doing, rather than just making an investment. PK used to say that nobody cares about your hard-earned money more than yourself, So I thought it wise that, look, we need to do this, and we need to do it right. So that's why we decided to go for it.
Yeah. Let me just pick up on that a little bit, Gift, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What sort of impelled you to consider a buyer's agent? I have nothing against buyer's agents. I'm of the opinion that anyone can do it themselves. But what kind of motivated you to look at buyer's agents, and then what then motivated you to say, actually, I probably don't need a buyer's agent. I can probably do it themselves? Because there's a lack of confidence there, right? Are you able to unpack that a little bit?
Yeah. We spoke to about 3 or 4, and they are quite convincing. That's the truth. And they will give you all this information. All you need to do is just to settle the house and move in, is this, is that. And I felt they know the property market more than I do. I didn't see it as something I can ever understand, because it's way out of my area of interest before now. So yes, I felt giving it to someone that is an expert would be a better option of not making the same mistakes we made in the first investment. But then looking at the cost versus the cost of your training, it's more about weighing your options and the long-term benefits. And when he said, let's do the course, I was like, okay, it's cheaper. It's once in a lifetime. I don't have to pay membership fees. So let's just go for it. So that was why we went ahead with your course.
Yeah. I mean, and cheap is one thing, like, just because it's cheaper, it doesn't mean that you should do things. but
save like wherever you can.
No, that's true as well. But let me ask you the question, and this is not scripted, so I hope you give the right answer, but please speak truthfully. Do you think you could have got a better property? I mean, 7% yield, bought under market value, interstate, by yourself. Do you think you could have got a better outcome by having paid a buyer's agent $12,000, $15,000, $20,000?
No.
I don't think so.
Because we spoke to another person while we were doing the course, and he was like, I'm looking at my data here, and he mentioned one of the stuff you use, and we both looked at ourselves and we're like, it's the same thing. Like, so no.
Yeah.
We don't think so. No.
That's music to my ears, because like, that's my whole philosophy. If you have zero time, go use a buyer's agent, right? If you have no interest in property investing, you don't want to look at data, don't do the course. It's going to be a waste of money. But if you do have a little bit of time, if you have a little bit of interest, you were saying, Gift, that it's not like you were super passionate about property, but there was a little bit of curiosity there. You can do it yourself. And I mean, your deal kind of speaks for itself. It's amazing. Like I said, I was a little bit taken back when David sent me the message. I was like, I got to do an interview with you guys. And so you bought in Perth. Let's talk about, to this day, even after 40, 50 client interviews, everyone's really buying interstate. People still have this lack of confidence in buying outside where they live. You know, they live in Sydney, they live in Melbourne. It's not affordable to buy Sydney, Melbourne for investing purposes. They want to buy elsewhere, but they're lacking confidence. What was it for maybe you, David, or you, Gift, or combinedly? What allowed you to, you know, buy in Perth, which is basically another country, and do everything, the negotiation, the valuation, getting the tenant in, doing all this remotely? How did you do it? Can you give some advice for everyone who's looking to do it as well?
Okay, so before we even bought the one in Brisbane, like I said, I've consumed a lot of free stuff online, you know, and that kind of already opened my mind, you know, to the whole system. So for me, it was nothing new. You know, I've listened to you, I've listened to a lot of guys on Spotify, on Facebook, various Facebook groups, you know, so it was nothing new to me, you know. Then the fact that we did this one basing on the data points from your training actually gave us more confidence, you know, to do the deal.
Yeah, brilliant. And how long did you spend, perhaps? I know, Gift, you did a lot of the hard or the heavy lifting. How many hours did you spend, perhaps a week, you know, actually finding the deal?
Like, we did the course in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, we did the course in 2 weeks. After week 1 and 2, that's when he started looking, you know, and that was when they said, what was it? The broker said about something increasing by the end. Yeah, increasing by the end of October. So I even felt he was in so much hurry to find it and close it. So that put a lot of pressure on me, like completing the course.
Good work, David.
Before the end of October. So yeah, like we found the property on a Sunday and did inspection online on Monday, and by Wednesday we've closed the deal. So it was this quick.
Yeah.
So like everything I learned, I applied in less than 24 hours. And
amazing.
You know, still there are some takeaway points for us. Next time, I said we won't be in so much hurry, because we felt the property market was hot and the fear of losing out and all that. But yeah, it didn't take us so long.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Like, especially with the data, with the team that you get provided, it's like laser precision. You're just in, find the deal, you're out, and now you've got your tenant. You just forget about it. Next property, in and out. That's how it works, and that's advanced property investing. I'm going to put you on the spot. Like, what are the three, even if people aren't looking to do my course, what are the 2 or 3 big pieces of advice in property investing that you can share with everyone? There's going to be thousands of people watching on YouTube, the Facebook group, potentially going on the podcast. What are some gold nuggets that you can share so they too can get these amazing deals, you know, positive cash flow, high growth, under market value, etc.?
Okay, I'll start. The number one thing would be relationships. You know, I'll say this: when we started looking, you know, we were not looking at this suburb. As a matter of fact, it did not even come up on our search based on our price point. You know, but the suburbs that came out, you know, I started to make inquiries with agents, make phone calls, develop a relationship, send text messages and all of that. And I came across this wonderful agent, you know, in that area. He showed us about 3 off-market properties, which you always talk about, you know, and we actually didn't like any of them. But he said to me, look, I've been in this game for over 30 years. this is the areas to go to. So we kind of outlined a couple of areas, and then we picked some of those areas, applied the data in your course, and this particular one kind of ticked most of the boxes, you know. So that's how we now narrowed it down to this particular suburb and aggressively did our search. So for me, a relationship with the agent, local agent, it's important.
Yeah, for me, I would say believe in the system. You know, what you don't believe in will not work for you. So we took this course, and I would say we believed it because we followed the podcast and everything. We see testimonials of people it has worked for. So yes, we just said, even down to the basic things you would say in the training casually, I applied some of them. Like, for example, when you said call 3 or 4 property managers and negotiate, like, you can't believe the incredible deal we got, like, in terms of management fees. I think I called like 5, and I was negotiating like I've been doing this all my life. And so I kind of believed the system and followed it through. And that was a big thing for us, especially in getting a good property manager that could land us the rental yield we were not even expecting it. That's the thing. So
it's so pleasing. I'm genuinely saying this. It's so pleasing to hear, because when you have clients that just follow what you teach and they get results, it's like, just do it. It works. It's like that's your model clients. And I think the 2 takeaways, or maybe the biggest takeaway, relationships. You said, David, you built them in the matter of days. It didn't take you years. You didn't need a buyer's agent who was a full-time professional who just had best friendships with every agent in the area. You don't need that. You got these off-market opportunities, and at the same time you were educated enough to say, just because it's off market doesn't mean I should buy it. It needs to actually stack up. So that's the second thing. And that's, first thing. And the second thing, Gift, you're saying, which kind of struck a chord with me, you were speaking with people, property managers, etc., as if you've done this your whole life. And that's the other thing, whether it was you guys, I don't know, but so many people, they also think, property investing is too hard because I'm not an expert. It's too hard. I need to leave it to the experts. But you were talking as if you were an expert, and that was after 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And like, you have a job. It's not like this is a full-time job. This is just something on the side. So just kids. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's that's really my mission, right? I mean, you guys know it. I'm preaching to the converted, but anyone can do this. Financial freedom, it's not cheap. It's not going to come after just one property. It's going to take multiple properties, 10, 15 years, etc. But the longest journey starts with the first step, as you said, David.
Yeah, absolutely.
And lastly, if I can take the liberty to ask you, for the hundreds of people maybe who are on the fence of doing the course, it's an expensive course, as you know. It's not a cheap thing. Value is in the eye of the beholder, but it's not under $5,000. It's not one of those cheap courses that are $1,000 or $2,000. So you could say it's not cheap. And there's always an option to go with a buyer's agent who, for some people, they think is more guaranteed results. For all these people who are on the fence, what would you say to them, especially given, David, you did so much free content consumption? You're probably well educated to say, was this actually worth it?
Look, at the end of the day, I think it was more than worth it.
Yeah.
For people who are sitting on the fence, like I said, I spoke to you last year about November last year, 2020. So, and then signed up for the course in late September, so it took a while, but I did my cost benefit analysis, because for every transaction you do with a buyer's agent is 10,000 or 15,000 or whatever the case may be. And that closes out that transaction. The next one you pay again, but doing a course, having the knowledge yourself, next deal, you don't need to pay any other 10, 15,000. So for me, that was the deciding moment that, look, knowledge you gain cannot be taken away from you. You can apply it over and over and over again, and become, like she said, speaking to an agent like you're an expert, the agent knows that you know what you're talking about, so they come to the table with you, So if you're still sitting on the table, on the fence rather, I would say if you want positively geared properties, if you want capital growth, if you want a result similar or close to what we've achieved, then I think investing with confidence using the data that this course provides is the best way to go.
Yeah, and if you want passive income for the long term, just don't be like us. Like when he first spoke to you was when we got our place of primary residence, and that's like less than 1 year. So if we took the course, which the price hasn't changed anyway, as at that time, we wouldn't have really made the mistake we made in the first investment property. So if that is your goal, financial freedom through investment properties, just do it and start it out right the first time. Yeah.
No, thank you so much. I'm so pleased to hear those words. It really means a lot to me, and I think you guys should be proud of yourselves as well. I mean, you've done the work. I'm always there to help. For everyone who's watching and listening, I'm always there to help my clients and answer their questions. But I mean, you didn't even ask much stuff, right? You kind of just did it yourself.
I've never asked any question, actually, even in the forum.
Yeah. So
it's majority of the questions have actually been dealt with. I remember the first few days we signed up, I read through, if not everything, in terms of the comments of everyone in the community.
Yeah. No, it's like a model clients, I would say, did the work, didn't hassle me, although it's never a hassle, and just got an amazing result. It's like I couldn't ask for more. And yeah, thank you so much for making time for this. And for everyone who's watching, I genuinely hope you got some value. Even if you're not looking to do the course, I just want to instill in you, this undercurrent of a mindset that both David and Gift have. The longest journey starts with the first step. It's always a good time to invest in property, so long as you know where and what to buy. Start. Action always beats inaction every day of the week. And if you want to work with me, I'd be happy to work with you. I'll leave the comments in the comments below. Podcast, do your due diligence. Facebook group, do your due diligence. Look at the reviews. There's more than 50 of these types of interviews. And the website will give you a whole bunch of more info as well. But lastly, David and Gift, congratulations and thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks, PK. Thank you for having us.